Hello and welcome to the second edition of No Lie. My name is Justice Jones, of course, the very Mr. Talented Mr. Reginald
Do
Curtis.
you mean that? Because I don't know if you meant that. I don't know if it rolled off like the very talented, but I don't know if you truly will find out today.
Oh yeah, we gonna find out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we got a beautiful slate of football today. Some very interesting matchups. Last week there was quite a few. I call it upset central. There was quite a few upsets that nobody saw, especially that Buffalo game.
Can we
What-
recap with the games real quick?
Okay, now the Eagles and the Colts. The Eagles won that game. Andrew Luck took a bad sack on fourth down that led to the demise of the Indianapolis Colts.
And you picked we both picked
We
the
both
Eagles.
picked Philadelphia, so
Okay.
that was quite easy.
All right, well, let's just clear the rear. Who had the better record?
You had the better record last week.
Okay, because I know you wasn't going to tell the world. I know you was
No,
gonna
I'm
keep it to
telling you,
yourself.
well, I'm a man that admits when he's wrong. And I missed on a few picks. A couple of things happened that I did not foresee happening. And therefore, that's what happened. But let's put the past
It's
in
a
the
new
past.
week. It's a new week.
Hey, joy cometh in the morning.
Oh, it damn sure do.
And so we're going to get started by going, this is a 30-minute segment this time, so we're going to just get straight to this week's action. We're going to dive in, get off that diving board, and, go into the deep waters.
Who you got?
And the first game I got going is the most interesting matchup that I think for the week, and that's the Giants and the Saints. I think that is by far the most interesting matchup because I think that can go either way. It's one of those games where it's like something has to go right as far as a weakness for one of these teams in order for them to walk away. And what I mean by that is the Giants line either has to block like they never blocked before, or the New Orleans secondary has to be able to run around and actually make some stops. Because when they played them last time, and a couple years ago, Odell Beckham put on a sensational show in the Metrodome. It was I think a 40 point game by each team. It was just an aerial assault. I think we can get a repeat of that today. Honestly, I really do. For all of our fantasy players, those are some of the type of players that y'all need to pick for today because neither team plays anything that resembles defense. So at that point, it's just going to be an aerial assault. Saquon Barkley is going to have a lot to say in this game because it's going to change the Giants' dimensions from just being pass happy to being balanced. New Orleans is already a balanced offense with Kamara, but the thing about Kamara is, can he stay in between the tackles and make plays rather than just making plays in the passing game on the outside runs? That's, I think, is going to be really key for this game because in order to be able to run inside, that means you're controlling the line of scrimmage. If you're making plays to the outside, that's just athleticism coming into play at that point. But inside, that means you're winning the war in the trenches, and I think that's going to be real key in this game. Having said that, I honestly think the Giants have the more talent on the defensive side of the football than New Orleans. Therefore, I think that the Giants are going to win this game.
Ooh. So you going Giants?
I'm going with the New York Football Giants.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to have to go Saints on this one. I think the Saints they beat the Falcons last week.
Yes, they did.
So you think the Giants is going to beat the Saints?
Absolutely.
You think the Giants are better than the Falcons, or you just think it's a matchup thing?
It's more of a matchup thing. I think, though, as far as the Saints go along with Atlanta, their defense is different. They can attack their defense differently than they can with the Giants. The Giants have an actual back-end safety that can make plays in Landon Collins. And so having that, it changes the way you run routes offensively. The Saints could run the deep route offensively. They can have Michael Thomas running 6 routes all day long, which is Diggs, by the way. 6 is a route tree, just so y'all don't know, 1 through 9, the routes that a wide receiver can run. Well, I'll do more in depth of that as we go along. But it's just one of those things where now you can't cover the dig. You can't have the dig route because Landon Collins they're probably gonna put him in robber, which basically means he's gonna control the middle of the field. So that dig route is gonna be null and void for Michael Thomas. So they're gonna have to attack differently. And I don't know if Meredith or Taken Jr. can attack them on the outside while Landon Collins is playing robber down the seams. I don't know if that's going to be a different dynamic that's really going to take shape in this game. That's really going to, show who got what in this game.
Well, I think that I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But but I think that the Giants' back end is a little banged up. Eli Apple's not 100%, and who's it? I think it's linebacker. I forgot his name. I think he's a little dinged up.
Well, Vernon.
Yeah, Vernon. He's a little banged up. So I think because of that, I think the Saints have an edge because they're so fast offensively. Even though they can't go in the middle because Ingram is on his last week suspension. So next week he should be available, and I think that's when the Saints will be at their complete best when they have Ingram, because one thing Kamara, the only weakness Kamara has is he's a scat back. He's not a between the tackles back. He can do it, but he doesn't have enough beef.
The thing about it is he can do it with 10 to 15 carries doing that. He's not going to do it with 25.
He's not a 25.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And so you're going to say it's going to New York Giants.
Yeah, just because I just think they just have more talented and they're more of a cohesive. I think it's going to come down to coaching. I don't think that.
Exactly. One thing about coach, I think Sean Payton is a better coach than Pat Shermer.
But you went Giants. Don't try to.
No. Understand this. A coach is only as good as the personnel that he has on the field. Okay.
Okay.
And so with Pat Shermer, there was there was many questions about him, and because he came from Cleveland beforehand. And speaking of Cleveland, that game with Oakland is really going to be interesting. You got the Baker Mayfield.
You want to go there?
And that's where I'm going.
Oh, okay.
You see how I said right to that?
Okay.
I'm good at what I do.
All right, cool.
And so with that Cleveland-Oakland game, it's going to be an interesting game. Very, very. It's going to be a telling game. That's one thing about Oakland and Cleveland. It's going to be a telling game. It's going to be one of those games that's going to tell you a lot about the coaching staff. It's going to tell you a lot about the quarterbacks. And it's going to tell you about the mental fortitude of each team.
They're 0-3. Raiders are 0-3.
Exactly. And 1-1-1 on the Browns.
1-1-1. And who's home?
It's Oakland.
Yeah, Oakland.
They are in Oakland.
All right, who you got?
And I don't care. They could have played this at the high school football field down the street. I think Cleveland's going to win this game, and I think they're going to win handily. I think they're going to win handily.
Why do you think so?
I think they're going to win handily because the fact of Oakland right now.
I'm going Cleveland too, by the way, so we're both on the same.
I think Oakland right now is in a divide. They're in a divide amongst themselves in the front office. They're in a divide amongst themselves as a team. And you can't win football games like that when y'all all are not on one accord. And I think it's going to get ugly today because they're going to face a team that they're going to take lightly, and they're going to get shellacked. They're going to get blown out. I think I got the score actually being something like 24 to like
you
10.
Always have blowouts.
I gotta have. You got
last week.
Somebody gonna get blew. Somebody got blew out last week. Did it?
Did you call it?
No, I did not. Nobody. Right. You ain't calling me.
But if you go back to the I said it's going to be a tough game. I said the Bills and the Vikings.
How tough was it when you got blew? They got blew off the field.
But you can't sleep. I had a feeling. I said it on the last episode.
But you didn't pick it.
I mean, I'm not stupid. Nobody picked the Bills. Who's seen that?
I mean, yeah. Nobody picked the Bills.
I deserve. That's an L. I don't mind.
Right. And speaking of Buffalo, they play Green Bay.
Okay. And we in the tundra.
Yeah, we are in Lambeau Field. And they played another NFC North team in Minnesota last week. This ain't Minnesota. Okay, this is Green Bay. Okay, these are different boys out there. They got different men out there playing ball.
But hold on. I will say this. If Minnesota had Everson Griffin, I don't think the game would have been the same. Everson Griffin You got Barr, you got Harrison Smith, but next to the quarterback, the most important player on the field is the man coming after the quarterback.
Don't take my lines.
So what I will say, when you take Everson Griffin off the field, it changes the totality of that defense. They're not the same. So
maybe, but they still have more than enough talent to do what they have.
Run stopping. They don't have that bull rush. They have talent.
They didn't beat them with the run. Josh Allen slung them out of the building.
They don't have the bull rush from the outsides. They're not getting pressure fast enough. That's what I'm saying.
But here goes the thing. That's when you gotta do. He's a quarterback, a rookie quarterback. Send heat. They sent no heat. They got complacent in playing coverage and got lit up. And then on the other side of the ball, it was a disaster. They could get nothing. Kirk Cousins fumbling twice. It was a disaster on the other side of the football, too. They took them lightly, and they got spanked.
And that's why it's called Any Given Sunday.
Absolutely. But it ain't happening today.
Okay.
So, it ain't happening. It's Green Bay. It's Aaron Rodgers going to light them up.
We all know Aaron Rodgers is probably the most talented quarterback in the league, but at the same time, he's starting to get a knack. People are starting to wonder, like, is this guy really injury?
And you want to know, and that's exactly why he's going to go out there and say, hell no, this ain't how I'm going out like this. And he's going because last week in Washington, that was an abysmal performance by him, I think. But for Aaron Rodgers' standards, no, that doesn't work. And he has to redeem it. It has to be redemption. And,
So you think it's going to be a blowout?
Yes.
I don't think so, because one thing I've learned from last week, Micah Hyde, he's a Pro Bowler. No one's talking about him. You know where he come from.
Yeah.
Rodgers went up. He knows Rodgers. So I think Green Bay will win, but I don't think it's going to be by that much because they talking. The Bills, Micah's talking. He went up against Rodgers for many years.
But I think one thing that's
him and Hoyer in that backfield.
Yeah, but one thing I think is going to be really important in this game is Aaron Jones. They kind of took it easy on him last week versus the Redskins, and they paid the price for it. He was ready to play. They thought he was in shape to play. It was a little.
They gave him 6 carries.
6 carries.
But Jamal Williams can tote that thing too. They don't. That's the thing about that backfield. Then you got Ty Montgomery too. But we both going to.
We both going to Green Bay. I mean, Aaron Rodgers. Everybody think he's Tom Brady. I think he's just a notch underneath him due to leadership qualities. And Tom Brady's gonna have to show some leadership today as they play the Miami Dolphins today. They ain't looking good. They're not looking good. So, it's about time. I will never, ever, ever count Tom Brady out. So, that would be foolish. But they're in a heap of trouble because Miami has not beaten themselves this year. Usually they can count on Miami to beat themselves up a couple times and be like, okay, we're good. They're not doing that this year.
I mean,
they're playing good football.
They are playing good football, but I will say this.
I didn't even make the pick.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Make it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, it's just.
I apologize, sir.
I like the way Kenyon Drake is actually. I mean, even though he's not getting the yards that I think he should be getting, the fact of that he's a run and pass catching running back will pose problems for the New England defense that let Blake Bortles look like Tom Brady out there, tossing that ball all up and down the field. But New England's going to win this game.
Oh, okay. I'm sitting there. I'm just like, you made me go back to the cup. I'm just like, what you going to do? So you going...
Oh, New England's going to win.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, yeah. All right, then that's unanimous then. Because, I'm not betting against Tom.
You can't go against that, man.
I won't bet against Tom. Not down three losses in a row? Nah, that doesn't even make no sense. Plus, with the emergence, I'm not putting a lot on him. But with the emergence of what's his name? It's number 12.
Nah, he ain't number 12 over there.
Number 10.
I'm gonna say there's only
number
12.
10. Mr. Josh Gordon.
Yeah. Well, he better do something because
kill.
New England looked bad against Jacksonville, and they play the New York Jets today. I'm a diehard Jets fan.
No, you're not.
But
that's another show. Yeah.
But I ain't no dummy. Jacksonville defense, they don't play games out there. They come, they hunt, they kill. Okay.
They lost to Tennessee last week.
Was it the defense fault? They gave up 9 points and lost.
Yeah, that's Boils.
They gave up 9 points and lost.
No touchdowns.
Yeah, damn sure wasn't them.
I think it's gonna be a close one though. So you going to Jacksonville?
Yeah. Like a 20-17 type of game. Something like that.
I like that. I think I'll go Jacksonville.
I'm going Jacksonville. It hurts my heart.
I think. See, this could be an upset special because
because the Jets can come out there. It doesn't, and I don't know what Jets is going to come out. It's Jekyll or Hyde.
Now you taking my words. That's what I said about the Redskins last week.
It is
That's
Jekyll
what
and
I
Hyde.
said.
Great minds think alike. So yeah, it's like Jekyll and Hyde. You just don't know what you're going to get. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets won, but I'm not picking them to win.
Me neither.
And then you got Houston and Indianapolis. Andrew Luck. I don't know what to make of him when I see him for these past 3 weeks. I really don't. It's just he is.
Excuse me. What do you think about them taking Frank Wright taking Andrew Luck out the game and having Brissett throw that Hail Mary pass at the end of the game? Because everybody that was going around is that Andrew Luck doesn't have the arm that he used to have. They saying after all these surgeries and procedures, his arm is diminished. And looking at his stats, it looks to be that way.
I said last week on the show about Andrew Luck that he is the most overrated quarterback in the history of football.
Okay. I don't agree, but I get you.
That's another pay for another day.
Okay.
Having said that, it's showing right in your face right now. He is a glorified game manager in my eyes. Andrew Luck is a glorified game manager. You have to have the requisite pieces around him for him to have any type of success. If you don't, it's not gonna happen. He doesn't have that right now. One game that the defense played above their heads in Washington, and then that was it. Other than that, they've been getting torched and smoked. Okay? Carson Wentz came back from injury, and versus them, he ain't missed a beat. He looked good. He didn't have all of his weapons out there. Okay, Alshon Jeffrey comes back today.
He's not a weapon.
Alshon Jeffrey's not a weapon.
No, he don't get weapons get 1,000 yards. I mean, he's a big target. He's nice. The weapon is Ertz.
Alshon Jeffrey's not.
He's not the number. So Alshon is better than Ertz. It's better than Zach Ertz. Even though Zach Ertz is a tight end, do you believe Alshon Jeffrey is more of a threat with no speed than Zach Ertz?
The difference between that is they play. You can't. That's comparing apples to oranges. Zach Ertz controls the middle of the field. Alshon Jeffrey is not going to control the outside because there's too many dimensions.
Who do they double? Who do defenses double?
You have to double Ertz. Why? You want to know why? Okay. Every running quarterback in history, what is their number one target? What is their number one target? The tight end.
What is who's number one target?
Carson Wentz's number one target is Zach Ertz.
Only because he's the best player on that offense besides him.
I'll give you the best player, but don't discredit that he's not a weapon.
Don't discredit that who's not a weapon.
Alshon Jeffrey is
He's a weapon, but he's not. You made it seem like he's like dude's number one on the offense. I'm not discrediting him.
Who said?
He can
ball.
Did
I say that?
He's a baller. But
Did I say that?
But I can't glorify if you get
he
800
did not
yards.
have all of his
He got 800 yards last year. That's not a top. He's not in the top 10 receivers.
But you gotta also understand that they had a 3 running back committee last year too. That they was running the ball. Their zone.
But they're not. They're a balanced team. They're not a run first team. They're a balanced team.
But their zone, and then you also had Trey Burton. They like to run those 2 tight end sets last year too.
Yeah, and that's why they drafted the young boy out of South Dakota in the 2nd round.
throughout it all, Houston's gonna win this game. Throughout it all,
so you got Houston.
Houston gonna win this game.
This is a rough one. My heart tells me to go with Watson because they're 0-3. And I got to go with it. So I'm going Houston.
All right. Seattle, Arizona.
Who you got? Houston, Indy.
That's a Houston.
I don't like it. I don't like when we pick the same games. I don't like it.
We it's gonna get different later.
It's gonna get different next week because right now everything is still in the air.
Seattle, Arizona. I don't think it's gonna be a contest. It's gonna be a disaster.
It's gonna be a game.
No, it's not. Seattle's gonna kill them. It's gonna be bloody out there.
Because David Johnson, I think this game is the game he's gonna break out. So I think
Bobby Wagner's gonna have his eyes set on him. And
hold on, time out. Didn't you tell me last week you didn't care about Bobby Wagner? Because when I told you Seattle,
different team, different scheme.
Come on, man, Justice, you gotta stop, man.
Different team, different scheme.
You gotta stop. I said Bobby Wagner controls the middle, and then Earl controls the back. I said that. That's why I said Seattle was going to beat Dallas.
Who was they playing? Dallas.
You act Dallas is sorry, Cardinals is sorry. What are you saying?
So the Dallas offensive line, you're comparing them to the Arizona Cardinals offensive line?
Dallas offensive line is the
Do you know a name on the Cardinals offensive line?
I don't care about offensive line. I just know them as a unit.
That's the difference between winning and losing football. So last time I checked, if you don't have an offensive line, you're not winning football. You're not winning games. I don't care how talented your receivers are. I don't care. The only quarterback that can go with a bad offensive line and win ball games was Tom Brady. He had a bad offensive line. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers had a bad offensive line.
Aaron Rodgers got legs, though, too. Don't you get it twisted.
That's what I'm saying. And so does Rosen, and so does Russell Wilson, who has the worst offensive line in the league. Let me make that.
I'll disagree. I think Buffalo is worse, but we're going to go there later.
So we both going Seattle.
And it's not a close. Tampa Bay, Chicago.
I'm going Chi-Town.
Damn, so am I.
Man. I think you following my trend. You starting to try to think like me.
No, I'm starting to try to think like football.
Oh, okay.
It makes football sense. They don't have anybody that can stop Khalil Mack. It's going to be a disaster.
See, I think you're looking at it. I think it's not Mack. I think with the pressure, Fitzpatrick's a journeyman. He's been roaming. He's been roaming.
Here we go.
He got hot. He's breaking records. They're winning games. But you've seen a journeyman eventually is going to go back to his old pattern, his own ways, his old ways. The interception. That's what Fitzpatrick does.
About that interception, because you dropped me nuts with that. No. The first one, the offensive line got bamboozled, and he got tapped in the air because they couldn't block nobody, and that happens. The one with Mike Evans. Mike Evans was supposed to run a 7. He ran a 5.
Okay.
He was supposed to run an 8. He ran a 6. Even numbers break in, odd numbers break out. That's the thing about the route tree. Except 9 is straight. Okay? 0 is 9 is down there. Okay. Everything else breaks in.
So you're justifying interception. That's what you're basically trying to tell me.
No. What I'm basically trying to tell you is the fact of the matter of he made the right call.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that the receiver ran the wrong play.
Okay.
So that's good. I'm like, bang.
Excuses,
I'm there because
tools of the incompetent. I don't know, Stop making excuses.
The third interception, there was no excuse for it.
It don't matter. He's going to sling picks this week. Multiple. Chicago at home. I'm not sold on Trubisky. But
I like Trubisky.
I like that defense.
But another defense that I do like is the Dallas Cowboys defense. They play Detroit.
Who you got? Go ahead.
I got Detroit.
See, that's what I'm saying. Why are you switching up this week? Last week,
How did I switch up? I got.
switching up. Why are you switching up? 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 Why are you switching up?
When the evidence changes.
The evidence never changed. You just finally seeing the light. I must have enlightened you last week because you was on Dallas. Now you.
I'm picking first. You know what? Forget this. You know what? We're gonna switch this up. Philly and Tennessee. Who do you got? Who do you got?
You said Philly and Tennessee?
Yes.
I'm going. Wentz? I'm on the Wentz wagon.
I got Tennessee winning this game.
Ooh, do you want to do? I mean, what do you want to do again? Because I mean, for y'all, you were supposed to get the ball. I should be cutting your damn head right now because you lost. I told you Denver. There was no way a broken down. What's his name?
Yeah, man.
What's the quarterback for Denver? What's his name?
Case.
There's no way a broken down Case Keenum is going in Baltimore and winning. I knew that. That's why I said.
Tennessee.
Let me ball that.
Okay, can we go to analysis?
Let's go to analysis. Go ahead. Tell me why Tennessee.
You made the first pick. You go ahead.
Tell you why Philly's gonna win. Great, simple. Thank you. I'm so glad. Write it down. Philly's gonna win because Tennessee, even though their coach Mike Vrabel is defensive minded, they have a defensive coach. Philly has an offensive coach. This league is offensive now. It's an offensive game. But the reason why Philly wins games, and people don't notice this, they overlook it, it's the hot damn defense. Philly's defense is just as good, if not better, than Tennessee's defense.
Okay,
Tennessee
well, damn, what happened to them in Tampa Bay? When Ryan Fitzpatrick was lighting up the field, all up and down the field.
You know what happened?
They had no answer for it.
You know what happened? Fugazi. Fluke. It's magic. What magic runs out? The Fitz magic is about to run out. It's over. Everybody fits in the shades, and then he stole Deshaun's gear and all. It's about to be over.
Elite is elite, no matter where you're going. They are not.
Are you saying Fitzpatrick is elite?
No, I'm saying the Philadelphia defense is not elite.
How, the champs. You're gonna say the champs D is not elite?
Damn, they gave up 32 points.
Tom Brady, the GOAT.
If you're elite, you're elite. They ain't do that against Seattle.
Man.
He ain't do that against Seattle when they was out there.
What you want to do for this pick? Because I know Philly's going to beat Tennessee.
We'll discuss
what can we do? Can
We'll discuss that later.
All right, can we back up the balls for later? So you already owe me one ball. Can I give you another ball? Because I want to cut you in front of everybody because I know Philly is going to beat Tennessee.
Well, we'll find out.
I know.
Something else we're going to find out is Atlanta and Cincinnati.
Atlanta and Cincinnati?
You make the pick.
You want me to make the pick again?
Since you want to say that I'm riding on your coattails.
You are riding on my coattails. And this gives you a perfect chance to ride on it because I'm going first.
Go ahead.
Going Atlanta.
Nope.
You going Bengals?
Yeah.
This is why I think Atlanta's going to beat Cincinnati. Matt Ryan discovered something last week. He discovered Calvin Ridley. He discovered now I have the luxury of having Tevin Coleman come out the backfield. I got Julio, who's going to have a huge game. And the reason I say Atlanta is because Cincinnati's banged up. Joe Mixon's out. AJ Green pelvis is a little in his hip. All that stuff is a little messed up, so he's dinged up. He's not really one of the toughest wide receivers. He's talented. He can jump. He's 6'4", athletic, but he's not strong. If they put a little, if they touch him a little bit. And Atlanta lost last week to the Saints, even though the Bengals lost, and the Bengals are home. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Atlanta, at the end of the day, just is too talented of an offense. And I think defensively, because they have, what's his name, Quinn. Quinn is defensive minded. I think he'll do enough to go back and forth with Cincinnati with Matt Ryan winning the game. Defensive. That's what I said. Yeah. He's defensive. So I think with his defensive mindset, it's going to balance out Marvin Lewis' defensive mindset, and then it's going to come down to who has the better offense.
Cincinnati's going to win this game for a simple reason. You think just A.J. Green and that's it? No, they got some brothers out there that can play some ball.
Boyd.
You got Joe Ross. And
Joey Ross hasn't had more than 2 catches in a game. You name it, and his name is John Ross.
John Ross, sorry. Yeah. And here goes the thing about Ross, what they're going to do today. They're going to use him up the seams. They need him in the slot and up the seams. What that's going to do is going to separate your safeties. They already got Neal hurt, out for the year. Deion Jones hurt, out for the year. Keanu Neal, out for the year. Like, what the heck? They have no safeties out there. So, all I'm doing is saying chuck and duck.
Beautiful. I like when we go against each other.
San Francisco Chargers, we both ain't going against each other here.
Not at all.
Nobody's stupid. Okay, they get no Jimmy Garoppolo, no chance.
The only reason Buffalo went in Minnesota is because Minnesota had they got a lot. Their psyche's off right now. That's why the Rams beat them. They're a little
How did that have anything to do with San Francisco and the Chargers? What was the correlation? Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
I don't know. I don't understand why I did that. But we're going with... No, I'm talking about as far as the... I'm glad you said that. I said that as far as the upset special. Because we both was unanimous last week.
Well, you gotta make that clear, because nobody don't know.
All right, well, that's when I'm doing it now. Because I had to second guess my damn self. Because you made me seem like I was crazy.
You are crazy.
I am a little bit. But we both going Chargers. And I don't... The reason why I feel safe with this instead of with this blowout, because 49ers don't have anything. They don't have... They lost their starting quarterback. Breeder's a little banged up. Sherman's out. All hope is lost. Chargers.
Phillip Rivers versus whoever the heck they gonna have quarterback out there.
What's his name? I don't know.
C.J. Beathard probably or somebody.
Intercept special. Let's bring the picks out.
Sunday Night Football. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. You already know how these games go. They get real nasty real quick. But it's a respect nasty, and like Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, where it's just dirty ball.
It's a field beef. It's an AFC beef.
I mean, it's a classic, but
it's a beef.
Like I said, it's a respect with the beef. It ain't like I said with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, where it's just dirty pool.
Yeah. They don't like each other.
It's just dirty pool. They want to look like this.
And my man Burfleck. Yeah. That's another reason why I think Atlanta's going to win too, because Burfleck's out. He's the quarterback of that defense.
Granted, but at least you ain't going to get no 15-yard penalties.
I'm going to take them.
No, you can't take those.
It's a nasty game. Football's not nice.
I
want my defense nasty.
Well, hell,
I want him disciplined, but I want him a little nasty.
Okay, that's the problem. Okay. There's no discipline with him.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Exactly. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, who you got?
That's a tough one right here. I think that the Steelers are going to win.
Nope, I got Baltimore. On the road.
I'll tell you why I think the Steelers are going to win. Because for one, they're more talented, and AB just always seems to just have his way. So, I mean, I think...
Yeah, his way with just about everybody in the league.
Yeah, but I mean, it's personal with them. I think it's a little bit more personal. I think it's going to be a real physical game, but I think in the end, it's going to come down. It's going to come down to Alex Collins versus James Conner. The run game is going to be real heavy, and I think the Steelers are going to lean on the young lad.
Pittsburgh can't stop nobody defensively. It's a disaster over there on that side of the ball. And the thing about Baltimore, they have the requisite weapons now.
Weapons?
Okay, you think every time I say weapon that it's elite?
Saying weapons.
They are weapons. They have roles. Willie Snead is a weapon.
No, he's not a weapon. He's a weapon with Drew Brees. He's not a weapon with Joe Flacco.
John Brown is a weapon.
John Brown is a weapon.
Michael Crabtree is a weapon.
No, he's not. He's a good slot receiver. He's not a weapon. He was a weapon. He's good for
I can't
7 to 83.
He's
gonna give you 7 to 83. That's a good. He's like Alshon Jeffrey. In his prime, he can get you to the bowl, but he can't get you over the bowl. That's the It's a lack on Crabtree. I like Crabtree.
I try to take the horse to the water, but you can't make him drink.
Never. You can't never. I had to learn that all.
Never drink.
So you going Ravens?
I'm going Baltimore.
It's gonna be a damn good game.
Absolutely. And the last but not least, Kansas City, Denver. It's not even gonna be close. I think they're gonna like Pack Mahomes. They're just way until somebody shows me they can stop them. I'm riding that train. I'm going A train.
Where is this at?
This is in Denver. I don't care where it's at. The air is thick. The air is thin. The ball will fly. And in thin air, how much more he can get on a throw to Tyreek Hill down the field. Who do they have to run with him on a fly route? Sammy Watkins, who do they have to run with him?
On Denver.
All right, show's over. Thanks.
Going Denver. I think all the charades is going to have to stop. I mean, I don't know if Denver can score with Kansas City. I know they can't, but...
Then the game's over. You can't score with nobody. Last time I checked, last person who scores the most points wins.
But I don't think that the Chiefs, I just have this feeling, I don't think that it's not going to last forever. He's a rookie. He's lighting things up. But I think eventually...
It might not last forever.
Just like that Fitzmagic, that whatever, all that stuff is over. Put it to an end.
It might not last forever, but it ain't going to stop here.
So you going Chiefs and
Absolutely.
I'm going Jags. I'm going Broncos.
Absolutely. All right, that was our picks for this week. There is one more thing I did want to talk about.
Let's talk.
All right. Well, I saw some preseason basketball games the other day.
Mm-hmm.
There's some teams that really, really impressed me. Okay. The Charlotte Hornets look good. They look good. They're not going nowhere. Let's not get it twisted. They're not going nowhere. We let go. Let's not kid ourselves. But they did look good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna waste footage talking about no damn Hornets.
Jordan is the coach.
Jordan was the GOAT with the basketball. With the suit, he ain't nah.
But the team I want to talk to about is the Philadelphia 76ers.
What about him?
They were. Markelle Fultz found a jump shot. My lord. He must have he I don't know where he went to go find one. He must have drank something from the same Gatorade bottle JJ Redick drank from.
I mean, it been there. I mean, I'm not saying it been there, but
No,
you
it
gotta
ain't been there.
understand.
That thing was nasty. It looked like Bill Cartwright was shooting.
If Philly would have played Fultz in the playoffs last year, they probably would have beat Boston.
No way. No way. Absolutely no way. They had no shot. They had no real chance. Why? Because they played against the best coach in basketball, in Brad Stevens. He is the best basketball coach in basketball. Without question.
It's not better than Pop.
Yes, he is.
Didn't he come from Pop?
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He came from Butler.
Ivy League.
He came from Butler. Yes.
Yeah.
No, he's the best coach of basketball.
He's better than
Absolutely.
Pop.
I think so.
All right.
He left.
No lie, he's lying. I don't want to do it no more. He's lying to you. I don't want to
Brad
do it.
Stevens is the best coach of basketball.
He's better than Popovich.
Absolutely. The way he's.
You don't believe yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you don't.
Absolutely. Brad Stevens is a genius. He's a genius.
How can you be a genius without rings?
You think one man stopped him from getting rings.
But if you're a genius, you
watch him go to the finals this year. Watch him. Okay. He turned Isaiah Thomas into a star.
He didn't turn. It's a system. And if you have
Whose system is it? Whose system is it? Whose system is it?
It's a system. He's an offensive guru, but I wouldn't go as far as to call him a genius. He ain't
system is it?
When do we start crowning people when they don't get no rings? Why are you crowning this man and he don't got no rings?
Okay, let me explain something to you real quick.
Let's leave this. Let's leave this for another special.
Let me get this point.
Because I don't know why he's talking like this.
When has Brad Stevens ever had a top 5 player on his team?
A top 5 player
in the league on his team?
I don't know. I mean,
never.
It's not about. I mean, you could say Kyrie a top 5 player. I mean, I would. A healthy Kyrie can be a top 5
All right,
player.
y'all. That's it. We're done here. I'm about to walk off the set.
Kyrie won. I already told you, Kyrie.
Top
won
10, yes. Top 5, no.
All right, top 10, top 5. What's really the difference?
Oh. All right, y'all. That's it. We're done here. I can't.
No lie. It's Reggie and Justyce.
I can't believe he said that.
2 bald heads coming at you real soon.
I can't believe he said that.
2 bald heads for this man real soon.